Let me tell you something. There's a secret most people won't tell you. It's a power that only a few women understand, but once you master it, everything changes. It's not about how you look. It's not about how much you give. It's not even about how much you love. The real power? Detachment. A woman who knows her worth, who refuses to beg, chase, or settle, becomes irresistible. Because the truth is, when you detach from needing anyone's approval, attention, or validation, you step into your power. And men, they can't resist a woman who knows she doesn't need them. Listen to me and listen closely. People get it twisted when they hear the word detachment. They think it means you don't care, that you're cold, emotionless, heartless. That's a lie. That's a complete misunderstanding of what detachment really is. Because real detachment, it's power, it's self-respect. It's a deep, unshakable understanding that you are in control of your own peace, your own happiness, your own life. See, too many women are walking around waiting for a man to call, waiting for a man to choose them, waiting for somebody to tell them they're good enough. And when that call doesn't come, when that attention isn't given, suddenly their whole mood shifts. Suddenly they start questioning themselves. What did I do wrong? Was I not pretty enough? Did I say something wrong? Stop right there. That is not where your power lies. That is not where your worth comes from. And that is why you feel lost. Because you have been measuring yourself by someone else's validation. You've been chasing something that was never meant to define you in the first place. See, real detachment, true, unshakable, undeniable detachment is knowing who you are even when nobody else is watching. It's knowing that if a man texts you or doesn't, you're still that woman. If he chooses you or doesn't, you're still that woman. If he loves you or doesn't, you are still that woman. Because you never based your worth on his recognition in the first place. You have to stop believing that love is something you have to earn, like a reward for good behavior. Love is not a prize for being nice enough, giving enough, understanding enough. Love, real love, starts with you. It starts with the way you see yourself when you look in that mirror. It starts with the way you talk to yourself when nobody else is around. Because here's the truth. When you attach yourself too much to anyone, you give them power over you. You don't even realize it, but you do. When they're happy with you, you're on top of the world. When they pull away, you start questioning everything. And before you know it, you're trapped in this cycle of needing them to make you feel whole. But let me tell you something. You were never meant to be half of anything. You were born whole. You were created whole. And the moment you start acting like it, the moment you start believing it, everything around you is going to change. Because a woman who doesn't need approval is powerful. A woman who knows that she is already enough doesn't beg. She doesn't chase. She doesn't force anything. She is a force within herself. And let me tell you something about men. They see that, they feel that, and it shakes them because they're not used to it. They're used to women who bend, who wait, who shrink themselves just to be chosen. But a woman who walks through life with the confidence of knowing she is already complete, that's a woman they can't forget. A detached woman doesn't play games. She's not pretending to be busy just to make a man miss her. She's actually busy. Busy building her dreams, busy working on herself, busy becoming the best version of who she was meant to be. She's not sitting by the phone waiting for attention like it's some gift. No, she's too focused on her own purpose, her own growth, her own joy. And when a man steps into her world, he knows this is different. This is a woman who won't be swayed by sweet words with no action. This is a woman who won't settle for inconsistency. This is a woman who will walk away if she is not valued, and she will do it with her head high, her heart intact, and her power unshaken. And that is why detachment is everything. It's not about not caring. It's about caring more about yourself, your peace, your life. It's about understanding that love is not about losing yourself in someone else, but standing firm in who you are, knowing that the right people will recognize and respect that power. And the ones who don't, they were never meant to stay in your life anyway. Let me tell you something. When a woman detaches, she steps into a level of attraction that most people don't even understand. She stops being predictable. She stops being easy to read. She stops being someone a man can put on a shelf, knowing she'll always be there, always waiting, always available. See, when you're too available, when you're always the first to text, the first to compromise, the first to adjust your life around somebody else, you become expected. And the moment you become expected, you become taken for granted. That's just human nature. People value what they have to work for. People respect what they can't fully control. And a woman who is detached is a woman who cannot be controlled. She moves with purpose, she moves with certainty, and that makes people, especially men, pay attention. Because let me tell you something, mystery is powerful. And I'm not talking about playing games or pretending to be something you're not. I'm talking about being so deeply focused on your own life, your own growth, your own happiness, that people start to wonder, what's different about her? See, when you detach, you stop responding to every little thing. You stop over-explaining yourself. You stop trying to prove your worth to anybody. And that shift, that changes the way people see you. And let me tell you something. Men feel that shift. They see it. They sense when a woman is no longer emotionally dependent on them. They feel when they are no longer the center of her world. And instead of making them pull away, most of the time, it makes them lean in, because suddenly they realize something, they could lose you. See, when you're too available, when you're too predictable, when you're always there, a man never has to question if you'll stay. He knows you will. He knows you're always going to say yes. He knows you'll always understand, always forgive, always be patient. And at first, maybe he appreciates it. But over time, he starts to expect it. But when you detach, when you show that you have your own path, your own purpose, your own life that you're building, now he has to work. Now he has to show up. Now he has to prove that he's worth your time, your energy, your presence. And that's what makes a man step up. Because here's the truth. A man values what he has to earn. If something is handed to him, if something is always there, if something requires no effort, no investment, no challenge, he won't appreciate it the same way. It's just human nature. But when a woman is detached, when she is not afraid to walk away, when she is not sitting by the phone waiting for breadcrumbs of attention, that's when the man realizes, I can't play around with her. I can't take my time. I can't give her half effort because she will leave. And that's when the dynamic shifts. Because a woman who detaches doesn't wait for love. She doesn't beg for attention. She doesn't hold her breath, hoping that someone will finally see her worth. She knows her worth. And that confidence, that certainty, that quiet, unshakable belief in herself, that's the most attractive thing in the world. A woman who is focused on her own life is a woman who moves differently. She walks with a purpose. She speaks with confidence. She carries herself in a way that says, I know who I am, I know where I'm going, and if you want to come along for the ride, you better bring something to the table. That kind of energy, that kind of certainty, that's rare. And when something is rare, it becomes valuable. See, most people are too busy looking for someone to complete them, too busy waiting for a text, waiting for attention, waiting for someone to tell them they matter. And in the process, they lose themselves. They forget that their life, their entire existence, is not meant to revolve around another person. But when a woman shifts her focus, when she stops waiting and starts living, that's when everything changes. Because now she's not sitting around wondering when love is going to show up. She's building something. She's growing. She's creating a life that makes her excited to wake up in the morning. And let me tell you something. People see that, people feel that, and they can't help but be drawn to it. Because there's something incredibly attractive about a person who doesn't need you but chooses to be around you anyway. Think about it. Who do we admire? Who do we respect? Who do we look up to? The people who are on a mission. The people who have something bigger than themselves that they're chasing. The people who aren't just sitting around waiting for life to happen to them. They're out there making it happen. That's why a woman who has her own dreams, her own goals, her own vision, she stands out. She's different. She's not looking for a man to save her, to complete her, to give her purpose. She already has purpose. And that makes her irresistible. Because now a man has to ask himself, what do I bring to her life? How do I fit into what she's building? How do I step up to match her energy? See, a woman who is whole on her own doesn't need anyone. And because she doesn't need anyone, she chooses differently. She moves differently. She operates from a place of abundance, not desperation. Here's the truth. When you are desperate, when you are too available, when you make someone the center of your world too soon, you weaken your position. You hand over your power. You send the message that your life isn't as full, as rich, as meaningful without them in it. But when you're already whole, when you're already focused on your own life, that's when people start to pursue you. That's when people start to respect you. That's when people start to see your worth without you having to prove it. Because the truth is, men don't want to be a woman's entire world. They want to be a part of it. They want to know that she's got her own thing going on. They want to know that she's not just waiting around for them to call, for them to choose, for them to decide what happens next. And when a woman is in that space, when she is truly, deeply, unapologetically focused on her own life, she naturally attracts the kind of love that is meant for her. The kind of love that doesn't require begging. The kind of love that doesn't come from desperation, but from mutual respect, mutual admiration, and mutual greatness. Listen to me. There is something powerful about a woman who knows how to control her emotions. A woman who doesn't react out of fear, out of insecurity, out of the need to be seen, to be chosen, to be validated. That kind of woman, she moves differently. She doesn't beg for attention. She doesn't chase love. She doesn't break down just because someone is being distant, inconsistent, or unclear. Because she understands something most people never will. Her emotions are hers to control, not someone else's to play with, not someone else's to manipulate, not someone else's to dictate with their actions, their approval, or their absence. See, a lot of people live in reaction mode. If someone texts, they feel happy. If someone ignores them, they feel anxious. If someone loves them today but pulls away tomorrow, suddenly their whole world is shaking. And that's because they have given too much of their power away. They've made someone else responsible for how they feel about themselves. But when a woman detaches, when she decides enough of the overthinking, enough of the waiting, enough of the hoping that maybe one day she'll be loved the way she deserves, that's when she becomes unstoppable. Because now she's no longer waiting for someone else to decide how she should feel. She's no longer waking up every morning wondering if she's good enough. She's no longer looking at her phone, checking if he cares, if he notices, if he is thinking about her. No, she's too busy building her own life, her own happiness, her own sense of purpose. And let me tell you something. Men feel that shift. They see it. They sense when they no longer have emotional control over a woman. They realize that the little tricks, the inconsistency, the push and pull, the distance, it doesn't work on her anymore. It doesn't shake her. It doesn't make her doubt herself. And when they realize that, everything changes. Because now, instead of being in control, instead of deciding when to show up, when to give attention, when to pull away, they are the ones left wondering why she isn't reacting like she used to, wondering why she isn't asking for clarity, for answers, for reassurance, wondering why she seems unbothered. And that is powerful. Because let me tell you something about human nature. People are drawn to what they can't control. People respect what they can't shake. And a woman who is emotionally independent, who doesn't fall apart over someone else's inconsistency, who doesn't need external validation to feel secure, that is a woman who stands out. She is different. She is rare. Because most people, they're too emotionally available, too quick to give all their love, all their attention, all their peace to someone who hasn't even earned it. Too quick to get lost in someone else's world without even building their own first. But a woman who detaches, a woman who keeps her emotions in check, she is always in control. She chooses who gets access to her energy, her heart, her time. She doesn't operate from fear. She doesn't settle for half love. She doesn't waste time waiting for someone to see her because she already sees herself. And when a man meets a woman like that, he knows this is not someone he can take for granted. This is not someone who will tolerate anything less than full effort, full respect, full presence. And that is how you shift the dynamic forever. Listen to me. When a woman knows how to walk away, when she knows how to let go without hesitation, she steps into a kind of power that most people will never understand. See, a lot of people stay stuck in situations that don't serve them, stuck in relationships where they're undervalued, stuck chasing someone who barely even notices they exist. And why? Because they're afraid. Afraid of being alone, afraid of starting over, afraid that if they walk away, there won't be anything better waiting for them. But that fear, that's exactly what keeps them trapped. That's exactly what keeps them in cycles that break them down instead of building them up. A woman who is detached, she doesn't move like that. She doesn't hold on to something that isn't holding on to her. She doesn't beg for someone to see her worth. She doesn't convince anyone to stay because she understands something deep. If someone can leave her life easily, they were never meant to stay. That kind of woman, she is dangerous. Not because she's reckless, not because she's careless, but because she is fearless. Fearless in knowing that whatever she loses was never truly hers to begin with. Fearless in trusting that walking away will never cost her. It will only clear the path for something greater. And that kind of woman, men feel it, they sense it, and it changes the entire game. Because when a woman isn't afraid to leave, a man has to step up in a way he never has before. He has to choose her every single day, knowing that she will never settle for half love, half effort, half presence. He has to bring his best because she will never accept less. But a woman who is afraid to walk away, a woman who clings to something that isn't choosing her fully, she loses herself in that. She starts bending, adjusting, shrinking herself down just to fit into a space that was never meant for her in the first place. And in doing that, she loses her power. She loses her ability to command respect. See, the moment you show someone that you'll stay no matter what, no matter how they treat you, no matter how inconsistent they are, no matter how little they give, you send a message. You tell them, I will accept this. I will tolerate this. I will adjust my standards to keep you in my life. And what happens? They believe you. They stop trying. They stop appreciating. They start expecting you to be there, no matter how they show up. And before you know it, you built a dynamic where you are the one who always gives, and they are the one who takes without fear of losing you. But when you detach, when you make it clear, not with words, but with actions, that you will never stay where you are not valued, everything changes. So, to every woman listening, remember this. Your power is in your detachment. Your value is in your self-respect. Your strength is in your ability to walk away from anything that does not serve you.